Welcome to the Horror of Podcast Beach, the hypothetical horror movie pitching podcast from Reload Last Save. I'm Chris Vaughn, and of course with me is my super sibling, Andy. If you don't know what our show is, because we've only done one episode and it was a year ago, we pitch horror movie ideas we've come up with.
And then you have to make them contractually. If you're listening to this podcast, sorry, you work for us now.
If you're John Carpenter.
Yeah.
John Carpenter,
sorry, John.
If you're listening to this, you have to make our movies. Anyone else, you are... No.
Share
trademark,
this with your friends.
trademark, copywritten. What's the other one? There's trademark, copywritten, dibs.
Registered.
Dibs. Registered dibs.
Now,
Squatters' rights.
Dibs are trademarked. I don't know what company does it. They make those little ice cream things.
What about Dipping Dots?
Dippin' Dots? I think that's its own company. NASA, probably.
So essentially, we've come up with some ideas for horror movies. We have not shared these with each other. We're just going to bounce them off each other. We're going to interrupt each other. We're going to fight maybe. And we're going to hopefully
we're going to fight.
We're going to come up with some good ideas. And then, as a treat at the end, we had some of our loyal fans from our other projects write in suggestions for horror movie topics. We put them in a big bag. And we're going to pull them out, and we're going to come up with a horror movie based on 3 suggestions. And also, I have a second bag that we wrote together before we started recording, full of the names of actors and actresses. Or if you don't want to be sexist, actors, because female actors just want to be called actors now. Now, Andy, I believe you started off the last podcast.
Okay, so do you want to take the lead?
No, I want you to do it again. Because last time you had the only good idea. Well, okay, I want to start. It's a little movie called Crab Boss. No, okay, Andy, you go ahead and start us off.
I want to do... Can I do sequels to existing movies? Because if not, I'm going to have to take off my first suggestion.
Tell me what it is, and then we'll decide.
I want to do a new Friday the 13th.
Okay, so reboot or sequel?
Sequel.
So it's going to have Robert Englund. Or is it going to have Rorschach?
I said Friday the 13th.
Shit, I did it again. I do this every fucking time. Okay, is it going to have Kane Hodder or Rorschach?
You mean Jackie Earle Haley?
Jackie Earle Haley.
Maybe he can be in the background, I guess. He can be the key grip, whatever. Anyway, though. So, remember Jason Goes to Hell?
Yes.
When they send him to hell. This one, it opens with them sending him to hell.
Mm-hmm.
And they read from this big book so that they can send him to hell. Plot twist. It's the Bible. They close it and go, oh no! Jason goes to heaven. Now get this. Jason goes to heaven and all of the victims from all the previous movies are there. Except maybe that...
He killed some bad people, but if you get killed by Jason in a horrific way, I think that gives you a free pass.
I don't know if some of the characters in Part 8 would be there. There are some pretty problematic ones that would probably be in hell. But
okay, well let's just say the horny teens, the good horny teens.
So here's the thing. He gets to re-murder everyone he's murdered in the previous movies. Or so you think. Jason falls and drowns in a lake again.
In heaven.
In heaven.
So you can die in heaven.
No.
Just Jason.
I didn't say he died. It's not water in that lake. It's the milk of human kindness. Now, Jason is a good guy, and he goes back and he hugs all the characters that he killed probably too early. Like, characters that we probably could have developed before they died. I don't know. Maybe that punk rock chick or the hair metal chick from Part 8 maybe could have lived longer. I don't know. I just think a feel-good movie about Jason finally turning a new leaf.
Is Demon in heaven? Demon
Did he do anything?
But his name is Demon.
I think he went up to St. Peter and he's like, send this guy to hell. His name's Demon. I'm just fooling with you, man. and like he gave him like a pass to the
He
buffet
also
and all
worked
that
for
kind of
M.
stuff.
Bison at one point. This is the world's most inaccessible podcast. I guess we should also state, I forgot to state this at the beginning, we're not horror experts.
And
we
we're
don't
also
know the
not
name.
funny.
Well, that's implied. We don't know the names of every single actor in a horror movie. We can't name all the scream queens. We're just passing fans of horror. So think of this as an outsider's perspective on your fucking broken genre that's been making goddamn films like the fucking Bye Bye Man. How did you let that one pass? You fucking keyboard warriors? I didn't see one petition to stop the release of both Ouija board movies. Come on. We used to make things like the goddamn Omen. I'm not going to kill him. He's just a Ouija board.
Well, we made good
I've accidentally summoned So-So.
we made good movies and then we ruined them with sequels. So, I mean, have times changed?
I'd say most horror movie sequels are good. Friday the 13th, in my opinion, if we can talk about other film franchises, because we're going to make Jason Goes to Heaven. That makes it sound like he's going to camp.
He goes to camp like 10 times, Chris.
That's true. No, he never leaves camp.
Okay, where's Jason Goes to Jail?
Jason Goes to the Big City.
Jason Goes to Manhattan Jason Takes Manhattan's a real movie, Chris.
That's true.
You can't
keep doing this.
Oh, Jason Goes to Space? That was Jason X.
Jason X, though, starts with him in jail, though. Does it not?
Yeah. Frozen jail.
No, he gets frozen. Yeah, in the very beginning, he's all tied up. And then
David Cronenberg
shows up. That's a pig, goat, banana, cricket, deep cut right there. There has to be something more, though. It can't just be Jason becomes good and hugs people. See, I think that would be the end of the film. But Jason Goes to Heaven, I mean, it's religious terror because it raises a lot of ethical concerns about the nature of heaven. Also, if they're just letting literal monsters in now.
Also, I just realized, I don't think that if you read the Bible to someone else, they go to heaven.
But what if Jason's like, no, I get it. What if Jason, his only line of spoken dialogue is, I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior?
Well, that's the end.
Okay, twist. I'm going to modify a twist. Jason's in heaven, and the whole time, he's being interviewed by Kurt Vonnegut Jr. because everyone gets into heaven.
Oh, but then Jason Goes to Hell is the movie before it. That movie doesn't exist now.
Jason went to hell.
He's the only person in hell.
We never see Jason in hell.
Jason and Fred Krueger.
Fred Krueger
are the only two people in hell, and Jason just leaves because he's like, no one's going to watch me? Okay. He doesn't say that, though. Jason doesn't talk.
Okay, so a lonely old soldier goes to hell, and he has this bag, and he tells Jason, this is a bag, jump in it. Twist, it's been an episode of Jim Henson's The Storyteller the whole time. Twist, that's not John Hurt. It's Kurt Vonnegut Jr. interviewing Jason Voorhees.
Do you think we could get people like Kevin Bacon and like Kelly Hu?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here's my question. If you get to pick what age you are in heaven, would it be an adult Jason or a child Jason? Because he is a man.
He's like a hot 20, 25. He's got like slick back hair.
But he never was. He's you can only pick an age you've been. He's gone from giant, frightened Jason, and that's a quote from the movie, so I can say that. I'm still gonna bleep it. He's gone from frightened to child in a man's body. Those are the only two states. Which one does he prefer? I would like to see that little rapscallion Jason just jump around causing trouble like he's fucking... Okay, another twist. We're going to add one more layer on this. It's Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey rules. So literally he's just hanging out with other famous dead people. You never see a non-famous dead person in this movie. So Crispin Glover is the only victim along with Kevin Bacon. Those are the only two victims he gets to hang with.
Kelly Hu was in X-Men.
And Kelly Hu. Okay, you got... That's true. Kelly Hu from Phineas and Ferb.
Damn it.
It's now on the Disney Channel.
I was going to say...
We pitched a terrible movie they will not let us make. Except we have Keanu Reeves' blessing. I just got on the phone. Guess what? this is the new Bill and Ted movie. They've been lying when they said they've been writing it for years. They've had nothing.
The problem, we've been writing it for right now. The problem is that Keanu Reeves has never been a villain, or has never been a victim in a Friday the 13th movie. So they have to make one real quick where it's just him dying and that's the whole movie, just so they can technically put him in.
No, he's John Wick in this movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
John Wick's in heaven and they're like, John Wick, how did you die? And he's like, I didn't. I just came to heaven.
Ted Theodore Logan turns into John Wick.
Mhm.
That's an assumed identity. He finally dies, and we have a spin-off movie where his dog is getting revenge on him dying.
All dogs go to heaven 3 and also Jason.
I don't feel right making that with Dom DeLuise. Dom DeLuise is no longer with us. Oh, but Dom DeLuise would be in heaven, so
Yeah.
we can get... He's back in.
Duh.
Can we still get William Sadler as Death? Because that was probably the best part. Whenever people ask me, what's the better movie, Bogus
Journey.
or Excellent Adventure? Bogus Journey. Bogus Journey all the way. I will watch.
How often do you get asked that?
I get asked that once a decade. I've been asked it twice. And
Hey,
I've
Chris?
staunchly said William Sadler as Death makes that film the superior one.
Excellent Adventure or Bogus Journey?
Bogus Journey.
Oh, there you go. I asked.
There you go. Shit. Blew off the ratio. I've been asked 2 times this decade. Okay, so that was Jason Goes to Heaven. Let me pull out an actor. You got 1 actor to put in this film.
Okay.
And I'm going to make a twist. This actor has to portray a famous person who's deceased
Oh, no.
because they're going to be in heaven. In this movie
they have
that
to
isn't
portray
really a
Dom
horror movie.
DeLuise.
Jeffrey Combs. Jeffrey Combs. Who would Jeffrey Combs be? I see him as an Einstein. Maybe a Nikola Tesla. I guess I'm only picking scientists because that's his most famous role. For those who don't know, Jeffrey Combs, of course, in the film Reanimator. I know him as Wei Yun from Deep Space Nine.
Well, I mean,
And also Brunt from Deep Space Nine.
if he's Einstein, you could just trim his hair a little bit and he is Kurt Vonnegut.
Okay. Jeffrey Combs is Kurt Vonnegut Jr.
Kurt Vonnegut.
But Kurt Vonnegut's not dead. Kurt Vonnegut is in a hospital who's being systematically killed and resurrected so he can go to heaven, interview people for his new book. This book has to take place at the latest, the early 2000s.
And also, it's in the Friday the 13th universe? I think we've gotten away from that.
It's in the Friday the 13th universe. Kurt Vonnegut is
All
in a hospital.
Kurt Vonnegut books are in the Friday the 13th universe canon.
The books where Kurt Vonnegut is himself a character. So, Breakfast of Champions, not the main story, but the story on the peripheral, which is a story of a man writing the book Breakfast of Champions. Timequake, and God Bless You, Dr. Kevorkian. Those are the 3 books that take place in the Friday the 13th universe because Friday the 13th based on a true story.
Mm-hmm. I have one more note, and then we can go to your idea. It's another Friday the 13th movie. It's another reboot, a second reboot.
Mm-hmm.
And Pamela Voorhees is pissed because the counselors and everyone let her little child drown to death.
Yes.
And she's like, why? Why did you have sex instead of saving my kid? And they're like, you're the cook. Why didn't you save him? And then she's like, I don't.
You work here too.
I don't. And then there's no murders. That's the end. She's just like, shit, they got me.
Okay, what if we have an animated Friday the 13th and he's hunting down the Fireside Girls from Phineas and Ferb?
I hate Chris because I was definitely
Kelly Hu is back in.
I put Kelly Hu in the movie just so I could say Ashley Tisdale was there too, and they're always going after her brother and her brother-in-law.
That was me being a huge prick because I don't watch that show. I know it through osmosis. Osmosis Jones 2, we're going to save that for our animation podcast.
There kind of was an Osmosis Jones 2 though.
Okay, Osmosis Jones 3.
Ozzy and Drix was a TV show.
We've heard about Fred Krueger.
Yes.
Some people call him Freddy. We call him Fred.
What about Ted Krueger? He's a little bear. Hey, what's up? I'm Ted Krueger.
What about Fred Kroger's? It's sad because, Andy, you're kind of hinting at my idea.
Oh, no.
cognitive bias wherein people of low ability suffer from illusory superiority, mistakenly assessing their cognitive ability as greater than it is. That is called Dunning-Kruger, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Simply put, one, I mispronounced the word illusory. Illusory. Fuck, that's a hard word to say.
You play Dark Souls. How do you not know the word illusory? Illusory.
Dunning-Kruger is pretty much every fucking jack-off you've met on Twitter. People who think they are amazing at something when they are obviously terrible.
I mostly just tweet to you, Chris.
Case in point, at one point, I thought I was a pretty good Let's Player. And then I looked up Dunning-Kruger effect, and that's why we only put out 3 videos this month. It's a Freddy Krueger-like character.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just call him Freddy Krueger, as portrayed by Robert Englund.
I love Landon Englund.
He thinks he is exceptionally scary. And he thinks his quips are really smart. And he thinks he's the most terrifying monster out there. But the real horror of this story is the slow realization that he's some fucking asshole in a fedora telling knock-knock jokes.
And not only that, he's wearing a red and green sweater. He's wearing a Christmas sweater and he thinks he's fucking scary.
Or what if it's the other thing? What if he's a guy who just hunts down people who thinks they're better than they are?
I don't know if I like the lesson of the movie being have a low self-esteem.
Keep your fucking ego in check, or Dunning-Kruger will haunt your dreams. And
Come
maybe he
up with
doesn't kill you. Maybe he just shows you that you're bad. Maybe he just goes to every webcomic artist and he's like, hey, this clip art that you just keep flipping over and over again, that's not real art, bro. And the like wakes up like, oh my God.
You could just fucking say that to my face, Chris. You don't have to use a fucking movie pitch.
Andy, what if I said you have the starring role? No, I was thinking more of like he just constantly haunts Tim Buckley, writer and artist of Control Delete.
See, our podcast is accessible.
So that's all I have for. It was more of a joke and less of a pitch. Unless you have anything you wanna add to it. What do you like better? Do you like a sympathetic monster who's okay?
If he's a sympathetic monster, it's the exact opposite of Nightmare on Elm Street. Fuck, I almost called it Friday the 13th.
It happens to the best of us and the worst of us.
He's a fucking pedophile that they burned.
It happens to the worst of us who think that we're the best of us.
The Last of Us, now available on PlayStation 3.
What if we got the Napoleon Dynamite guys to come in?
Oh, I thought you were just going to say John Hader.
But we got to keep Robert Englund.
Yeah, from Napoleon Dynamite, Robert Englund.
But I'm saying like they're the perfect type of people to handle the story. Like Gentlemen Broncos, Nacho Libre, which isn't that great of a film, but Gentlemen Broncos, which is a great
Get that corn
film.
out of my face.
Gentlemen Broncos,
Jack Black as Freddy Krueger.
Napoleon Dynamite and Gentlemen Broncos are both kind of the same kind of story.
Yeah.
Where people who think they're the bee's knees who really aren't. The type of people that use the phrase the bee's knees on their podcast in the year of our Lord 2017. Or maybe Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson hasn't done a horror film. There was that SNL sketch that posited, I say sketch instead of sketch, but that's just because I like get on my skateboard and grab it on the back of people's cars and just going down the road, man.
See, I say
sketching.
I say sketch, but it's not because it's correct. It's because I like those shoes and you slam them on the ground and they light up.
Oh, Skitchers?
No. Chris.
Wes Anderson makes a horror film. The Dunning. Well, I guess it'd be Mediocrity on Elm Street. A Profound Realization on Elm Street would be the title of this film, and it'd be made by Wes Anderson. So you'd get some of that indie folk pop intros. You got a lot of colors that pop. You know what? I will get rid of Robert Englund on one caveat.
What?
Owen Wilson as Fred Krueger.
Scrap everything. It's just going to be a new Nightmare on Elm Street, except Owen Wilson as Freddy Krueger.
I'm so good at killing you guys. I'm like the best. Wow. What's that? Cat's got your tongue? Get it? Because this cat's eating you? And they're like, that's great, Fred. You're really getting me. Oh, thanks. I worked really hard. I stayed up all night trying to think of this. Hey, don't lose your head. And he like chops someone's leg off. And they're like, you'll get him next time, Fred.
He goes into people's dreams and he sees their biggest fear is cars. So he turns into a car. And then the sequel, he's a spy car for some reason.
Twist ending. So Wes Anderson directs.
Yeah.
We've made 2 movies that definitely are not horror movies. Wes Anderson directs. Owen Wilson is Fred Krueger. We'll have Robert Englund be his dad, and maybe he's Fred Krueger Jr. And here's the twist ending. Everyone lives. He thinks that if you die in your dreams, you die in real life. And then he's like at the grocery store and he sees Johnny Depp, who's now an old man. He sees Johnny Depp. I know Johnny Depp's in the first one. I don't like Johnny Depp. Get him out of here.
Let's burn Johnny Depp too.
He sees Wheelchair Kid from Dream Warriors. And he's like, wow, you got better. Here you are walking around. It's great. Wait a minute. Didn't I kill you? Yeah, in my dream, Fred. Now I just can't dream. I have a lot of restless nights, but I'm still relatively healthy, even mentally so. Wow, that's a bummer, man. And then you just have like Sounds of Silence as him on a beach or something. Or the saddest Devo song. Get Mark Mothersbaugh to just make us sad. Like, fuck it. Play Girl You Want, but really slow.
Yeah, play the Rugrats theme, but in a minor key.
So that's my film. A Profound Realization on Elm Street, directed by Wes Anderson. But we need one more actor. Yes, I have this in a Ziploc bag. The one that's... I pulled the one that's just blank. You're not going to believe this. I didn't mean to do this. This isn't a work.
I know what you got.
I pulled Michael Cera. Michael Cera is Fred Krueger's best friend, Jason Voorhees.
Oh my God! This takes place after my movie, and now he's nice. And it's just Michael Cera being himself, but also you can never see his face.
It's a tie-in. He'll come down on angel wings, and he'll just be like, "Hey, Fred, how's it going? Keep in there, man. Not all your kills have been terrible. You think some of my kills are terrible? Yeah, but only like a few. I gotta go." And then he'll leave. Okay, I think we got a fucking great movie. Andy, what's your next one?
I think it's actually time for an ad break.
Okay, ad break. Here we go.
Pizza in the morning. Pizza in the evening. Pizza at supper time. It's Clive Barker's Hell Rising Crust Pizza Bagels.
Can I make one suggestion?
What?
Don't say supper time.
No, I said supper time.
Oh, you did say supper time.
But here's the kicker. On the box, it'll have a little like pinhead, or each flavor will have a different Cenobite, and it'll say they're Cenobite sized.
Okay,
I said they will have that because they do, because this is a product and not a pitch.
Okay, I also have a product, if you don't mind. I've also written this down. Clive Barker's Fishmaster. If wishes were fishes, they'd be delicious. Essentially, it's just fish. It's just fish, and it's good, and it's brain food, so it's good for you.
It's the Gorton's Fisherman's logo, except it's Wishmaster in like a yellow fishing suit and all that kind of shit.
Well, originally I was going to pitch it as a movie, and the movie pitch is this.
No, you weren't, because it's a product and it already exists.
It's a product that already exists.
And we're being paid by them.
Clive is paying a lot of money for this. Clive is also paying me a lot of money to just not give out about how bad of a film Rawhead Rex is. But he didn't say anything about me complaining about Nightbreed. Ladies and gentlemen, what have I told you? Nightbreed not only is a terrible film, but the director's cut is somehow worse. That's right. He had 2 cracks at it and he fucked it up both times. Clive, what the hell were you thinking? Fishmaster. You can have a wish, but it turns into a fish?
How does an abstract concept become a physical living creature?
Make a wish and I'll turn it into a fish. Go.
I wish for $1 million.
Okay. You wish for $1 million. And then the fish master goes, okay, you wish for $1 million in fish. And you're like, what? And then suddenly you just have a ton of fish. Give me another one.
I wish for world peace.
You wish for world peace. All of the guns in the world turn to fish. And ergo, no longer work.
I'm just going to hit people with fish then.
But they're sharks.
Oh, no.
That's the twist. Give me another wish. Give me another wish, and then Fishmaster. I'll do my Fishmaster voice. What do you desire?
I wish I could go to like a concert, but like a jam band concert. Like a really hippy-dippy one.
Okay, here's the drive-by truckers, but they're all fish.
No!
Fishmaster. It's a great film. Dan, did you have another one? We've had a year to prepare, and I just wrote Fishmaster on a piece of paper and called it a day.
Yeah, I'm looking back and all my ideas are fucking garbage.
Ah, fuck. I just realized it's Wes Craven who did Wishmaster, not Clive Barker, making that entire bit moot. Nightbreed still fucking sucks, though. I stand completely behind that statement.
Okay, so what about if Chopping Mall were in a mini mall?
Are the robots tiny?
No. It's very hard to get around. And like, you know, mini malls, how they're like really cramped?
Yeah.
And also they can only be like maybe 2 or 3 victims because it's a mini mall. There's not that many people.
What if the robots are exceptionally big?
Okay.
Tiny mall, big robots.
Now that's Chopping Mini Mall. I also had another idea, which is Mini Chopping Mall, which is we just film Chopping Mall, but in miniature.
So we get Wes Anderson back in.
Yes. And also they're foxes. And then my third idea was a Chopin Mall.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Chopping Mall, but Frédéric Chopin he's a murderer and he kills everyone.
So it's all just classical music and him chopping people up.
Yes.
There's something there. There's not a lot of horror movies that revolve around music, like a musical horror film. You know?
There's definitely not any good ones, yeah.
There's not a musical horror film. Definitely something in the sci-fi genre that you would see in like a double feature. But no, okay, classical music. The classical masters. Beethoven, Mozart, Chopin, Bach.
Brian Seltzer.
Brian Setzer. Frank Zappa.
Bob Dylan. John Cougar Mellencamp.
The guy from Oingo Boingo.
Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman.
No, not him.
What if he's an elf? What if the elf man comes for you? He's like an elf.
Okay, it's a little elf, but Danny Elfman's head is superimposed, but it's regular size. He's got a tiny body, but a big, creepy Danny Elfman head with red hair.
He's more of a leprechaun. I think that's probably the greatest injustice is Danny Elfman is a leprechaun.
A leprechaun horror movie. What a good idea, Chris. Back to Elfman.
Do you have any other ideas written down, or was Chopin Mall your last one? I don't know enough about classical music. I'm not cultured. I was naming fucking classical musicians, and Frank Zappa was on the list. I'm not fucking cultured.
Yeah, you ran out after 2.
I only know one because of Milos Forman. However, it would be cool to kill someone with a G-spot tornado. I will, in my defense.
This has nothing to do with Chopin. What if we...
Is that anime about that dude who robs banks? I don't want to do an anime. What's your next idea?
You love Amadeus. Just make Amadeus, but he's a murderer. And it's Chopin now.
But Amadeus is a horror movie. F. Murray Abraham kills him.
That's true. Okay, so I want to do a sequel to Hair. Remember Hair?
Do you have any movie that isn't a sequel?
No. They're all sequels.
They're all sequels. So Hair the musical.
Yeah. Where they're all like naked and they're hippies.
Yeah.
Okay, but this one is in the Cthulhu universe.
Yeah.
And it's about the Dagon.
Yeah.
And it's called Hair 2, Dagon Tomorrow.
Okay.
That was it was a pun.
That was your whole bit.
Yeah. This is a bad podcast.
I actually have an actual idea.
Okay.
That's better than Fishmaster.
Hit me.
Okay.
Well, it better be.
You know The Purge, right?
No.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, The Purge is a film I've never seen, but I know the gist of it. The Purge is a series of films where every night all crime is legal.
Every night?
Every other night.
It's once a year.
Once a week.
It's once a year.
Once a week, you can do crime for 5 minutes.
Okay, what about this? It's The Purge, but instead of you get to kill people once a year, you get free soda and it's called The Surge.
Okay, so The Purge is once a year, which is still too much, let's be honest. All crime is legal. And their hypothesis is kind of bullshit because it's like, oh, crime rates will go down because you'll get it out of your system. It's not how most crimes are crimes of passion in the heat of the moment.
We don't have a crime gland that we have to empty out. Like, we don't have a crime valve. Like,
we're human beings.
I really feel like doing crime, but it's illegal. If only there was a better way.
I don't know. They probably cover this in the movies. I might be stupid for ripping on a movie I haven't seen. But I like the concept of a societal crime, of a crime that like everyone in the world is like ganging up and doing together. And then I thought, what else is coming kind of popular? Well, two things inspired this. One, the cyberpunk rise of the virtual idol. Two, seeing how easily corrupted AI is once it gets on social media. We have a movie where a rogue AI is pressured into becoming a mass murderer through social media. So people on the dark web, or not even the dark web, people just on the internet.
It's all dark web.
The people on Twitter and on Facebook who peddle fake news and yell at each other and scream at each other have convinced this virtual idol, who at first is just taking requests for songs, to kill people they don't like. And every night, people just go on and vote for people to die. And that's the whole movie, is you never know who's going to be next as this virtual idol starts killing people. And you would have to have the perspective of someone who's like an old parent who doesn't understand the internet. So there's a mystery element of how are these strings of gruesome murders happening? And then like the younger kid comes in and they're like, oh, Dad, I saw it on my webcam. Check it. This sounds like a very 90s concept. It's set in the year 1993. No. But like a kid's like, oh yeah, I saw it on my webcam. We were talking shit about this person on the social media, on Twitter, and the next day they're dead. And see, I'd have to have the virtual. At first I was thinking, what if it's just an AI? What if they built like an AI for a YouTube channel that did dares? You know? Because that's another big thing in our society. Prank videos and dare videos.
And murder videos.
And stunts and what's that thing where people Ezio Auditore over rooftops?
Parkour.
Prince of Persia parkour. Fucking
That's definitely not what
videos.
Ezio Auditore does.
Some people would say that he does. Some lawyers. So I was thinking at first, okay, what if you had this construct that was made by a company where you could just go into like a Twitch chat room and tell it what to do? So a bunch of people on Twitch do a backflip, and it does a backflip, you know? People start playing Dark Souls through Twitch, through a robot. All this crazy stuff happens. And then people start saying, go hit that person. Okay, and the robot walks over and slaps someone. And then like, oh shit. And it just becomes this game of warring factions trying to get this robot to kill other people. But I really like the virtual idol aspect because that makes it sexy. And sex sells. The movie would be called Hatsune Manslaughter. The other title I had is Virtual Die Doll. If you could come up with a better title or any notes for me.
Hatsune, me kill you.
What would cause a virtual idol to start killing people is the real question. Do we scrap the whole idea of her killing people by request, and instead she's just killing people who say negative things about her?
It's literally, you give a virtual idol the ability to express themselves based on how people treat them online and what their comments are and how terrible anime fans can be to fictional characters, and they snap. Like,
she goes on DeviantArt, she sees the kind of art people are drawing of her, and she snaps.
Ooh, and she kills people using the specific fetishes that they draw her doing.
Oh my God, that's true. So like she fucking inflates people. She swallows people.
Oh God, she stuffs a person full of food, which I mean is kind of like, it's like inflation.
They're two different things. Don't you dare belittle these fetishes.
She puts someone in a diaper on their head and smothers them to death.
Okay, now you're talking out of this film.
I'm sorry, swallowing someone was fine, but putting a diaper on someone's head and murdering them, I didn't say it was used.
Being used is implied. But I like this idea. Okay, so we scrapped the whole. I like the idea of people willingly trying to pervert this virtual idol by voting, and it's like a societal crime. But I also like the idea of it just learning to be a bad person. Maybe we can see that happen naturally over the course of the film. Instead of the film just opening up and people were like, you should really kill BillyWitchDoctor.com. You know?
What if it's Sonic the Hedgehog and he sees his DeviantArt? And all the stuff that people draw him doing.
I think he'd be into it. He'd be too into it.
You think Sonic would?
Yeah. What if it was Spyro the Dragon? No, okay. So, movie starts. People are dying. Music critics are dying. And the one thread that connects them all is that they all are outspoken opponents of music becoming digitally created by AI. There's a term for that, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Because Dunning-Kruger made me believe. Dunning-Kruger came in my dreams last night and made me believe I was good at hosting a podcast, even though I can never think like 4 words ahead of what I'm going to say. So the investigator, a real Denzel Washington from Fallen type.
Ooh, get Denzel?
Ooh, this could be like Fallen because she jumps from device. You just need to interface. If you interface, like if you plug an iPod in, she goes from your computer, boom, she's now on that iPod.
Or Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase.
You go on a Wi-Fi and she Scooby-Doo cyber chases. So this Denzel type, he's walking around and he's seeing all these people are murdered because they talked about how they don't like AI creating music. Music is man-made, blah, blah, blah. And then through the course of the film, let's say his investigation gets killed by the higher ups, and then like a WikiLeaks guy leaks the information. Now everyone knows, oh my God, this AI can be corruptible. So someone jailbreaks their phone, downloads this AI, and then for likes, comments, and subscribes, likes, comments, and die, you vote on who's going to die that night. And the whole time she's singing that one Lin-Min May song from Macross.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say Lin-Manuel Miranda.
She's singing that one. That's probably more popular than Lin-Min May from Macross.
Kind of. I don't know.
Maybe like singing, sleigh bells are ringing. So
I would
guess,
like it. I would like the movie if most of the time it's them voting,
Mhm.
and then at one point that guy hears a knock on his door while he's live streaming, and it turns out that no, it's achieved, its own sentience, and it
Yeah.
goes to kill the guy who. Chris, you pitched too good of an idea.
What if swatting people actually caused them to fucking die? That's what this film devolves into. People swatting each other. She could be called the Doxic Avenger. I'm going to pull 2 names. I'm hoping one of them is a woman. But one's going to be the cop. One's going to be the idol.
A real Denzel Washington type. So try not to pull Michael Cera.
I fucked up bad.
What'd you get?
I got one that's perfect and one that's not good at all.
What'd you get?
Keith David.
Oh, God.
Would be
Hatsune Miku.
The inspector.
Yeah.
Keith David. I gotta find who's killing these kids online. They just don't know better. Will Forte. Will Forte doing a Bjork impersonation would be our Hatsune Miku.
You can pull one more actor because Will Forte could be the nerd.
Oh, you're right. He's the asshole. The nerd who builds her, or the nerd that like jailbreaks her and then
Jailbreaks.
Okay.
I don't really think we need to pull the.
Who played Jailbreak in the Emoji Movie?
Was it Anna Faris?
For the love of God, please be a fucking woman.
I thought you made 2 different pools.
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh no! And he just does stupid jokey jokes the whole time.
I'm gonna keep pulling until I get a woman. Okay. Or an effeminate man who could pull off like a Prince style idol character. Because I don't really see male musicians being popular idols. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not hip to the scene. But it seems like most digital idols are women. But I think if you're going to have a crossover that's the first male digital idol, it would have to be a more effeminate, funky, oozing charisma and sexuality. Like Eddie Vedder Bot is not going to be the first male virtual idol.
Yeah, but there's a lot of like K-pop and J-pop artists who are men.
But that's what I'm saying. They're more, they're pretty boys.
Yeah, they're pretty boys.
Yeah. You can't have Keith David. If you told me Keith David had a blues band, I'd buy it.
Po, po. I'm Keith David.
Keith David, that dude's voice is so deep, he could be in a fucking metal band for all I know.
Vegetable juice.
Keith David Death Grips.
I'm Keith David. Do you want some Domino's pizza?
It's not going to be Rick Moranis. Okay. Gillian Jacobs. Gillian Jacobs would be our virtual idol.
No, she's the cop. I want Keith David to be the idol.
You can't do this to me.
Okay, fine.
I pulled one that I'm going to keep secret for next. Okay. Gillian Jacobs would be our digital idol. Will Forte is going to be the evil person who steals the idol and re-uploads it online for likes and shares. Bobby Moynihan, because we forgot to put him in our last 2 movies. Bobby Moynihan is going to be the person that creates the robot. Andy, what's your next idea?
Okay, I have this idea. And we open up, and it's on Halloween night.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a grisly murder. And then you find out it was a psychopathic child.
Ooh.
And then we go...
Do they kill like a drifter or...
No, they kill someone in their family.
Okay, so they kill like a family member, like a close family member, like a mother, father...
Like a sister.
Okay, they kill their sister.
Yeah, they kill their sister.
So it's a boy child or a girl child?
It's a boy child.
Okay, so this little boy kills his sister on Halloween night.
Yeah. And then, okay, we flash forward. It's the future.
Mm-hmm.
And they've escaped. It's not the future. It's the future, like, in response to that, but it's the past for us. Maybe like the 70s. I don't know. Escaped from an insane asylum. We find out that the little boy grew up. And he now, on Halloween night, like maybe 20 years later?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's going around and he's trying to get to another person who this is a twist for like maybe later in the series, but someone in his family.
Okay, so he had another sibling.
Yeah, he had another sibling in his family, and he's obsessed with killing them and all like everyone they know and all this kind of stuff. And it all takes place on Halloween.
What you gonna call it?
That's the best part. It all takes place on Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Halloween night, and it's all centered around Halloween.
Yes.
It's called Jim Halloween because the kid's name is Jim Halloween, the inventor of Halloween.
So it's actually an origin story of Halloween.
Yeah, it teaches the kids all about
Halloween.
how Halloween was founded by Jim Halloween.
Okay.
Also, Jim Halloween murdered like 4 people.
So this would take place in the 1800s.
I said the 70s. The 1870s. I never said
That's
1970s.
true. So it's 1870. Jim Samhain, but we're going to change it to Halloween, goes on a killing spree after escaping a mental institution.
Yeah, he changed.
Okay.
He gets it when he comes to Ellis Island.
He comes to Ellis Island.
Sam Hain? How are we going to pronounce that? Your name's Halloween.
Was Ellis Island a thing in 1870?
It absolutely was. It was started by Ellis from Left 4 Dead.
Actually, wouldn't it actually be the 1770s? Actually, now that we think about it. 1770s. It's like The Witch, but he's killing babysitters.
How is that like The Witch?
No, it's like The Witch, except he's killing. It's like The Witch Times.
The Witch Times.
It's the
That's
Witch
a better
Times.
movie idea. The Witch Times.
It could be like the season of The Witch.
Okay, how about this?
And there's masks that people, when kids put them on, they watch TV and the masks suffocate. No, because there's not TV.
Witches have a newspaper and it's called Witch Times.
Witch Times.
Okay, so Jim Halloween.
Jim Halloween. I like Witch Times better.
That's the sequel.
No, let's work on Witch Times a bit.
Okay, Witch Times.
Okay. So Witch Times, New York City, the Big Apple.
Yeah.
1986.
The Windy Apple.
It has to be 80s because it's all about female, like female empowerment was a 70s idea.
Yeah.
Right? But the female CEO, that's
Definitely.
an
The
80s idea.
big shoulder pads,
big hair,
colorful suit.
working girl.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Mannequin.
Mannequin's a
Also,
big one.
it's a film about female empowerment, and don't tell me otherwise.
I would say Coming to Life. Actually, she's kind of like she was alive for hundreds of years. That's pretty empowering.
So, a witch opens up a newspaper.
Yes.
I was going to say, like, you get it early and, like, your obituary, like, people get their obituaries a day before they die, but that's just a grim version of early edition.
No, the witches can't do anything bad.
That's
my one. I walk. The witches, they're witches, so they're evil. You know, they cavort with Satan, but they have a lot of journalistic integrity, and they just run a regular newspaper, and that's the movie.
What if it's a haunted typewriter, and every news story a person comes up with, hashtag fake news, becomes hashtag real news,
and then they're like,
but then it comes
this
out of
is
control.
A number symbol. I don't understand why anyone's calling this a hashtag.
It gets out of control, right?
Yeah.
So this person runs a tabloid, this is probably already a horror movie. The person runs a really shitty tabloid, and they write these stories that are just full baloney and malarkey, but then they start coming true. So suddenly Vanna White is having an affair.
And Weird Al gets stuck in a closet with her.
Weird Al gets stuck in a closet with Vanna White. All this weird stuff starts happening that this person predicts, you know? Nancy Reagan killed someone with her car. And then the next day she puts on the real news. And it's like the first lady accidentally ran over a pedestrian, killing them instantly. Like, I predicted this in my newspaper. And suddenly, like, the FBI start like sneaking around. Like, how do you know all these things are going to happen before they happen? You know, like you said that Prince cheated on his taxes, and then we just found out Prince is a tax cheat. Now Prince is going to jail. Thanks for that one. So she tries to stop writing these haunted news stories, but that's when the typewriter starts writing for her. Like, she'll go to sleep and she'll wake up and she'll be typing out a story in her sleep. So she smashes the typewriter and it keeps coming back. And that's when we reveal her boss is a witch who cursed her. Witch times. Maybe she was mean to the witch in high school.
I was going to say that the typewriter is alive, and the typewriter is the ghost of a witch from a typewriter they had in the 1600s. You know, one of those 1600s typewriters they used to have?
She's a printing press, and we pull out, and the female journalist is like, damn, I love my job, but I hate having to use this Gutenberg-style printing press. Oh, well, beats writing it by hand. Writing every single issue of our newspaper by hand.
That's how it's like.
The witch is angry because witches die from fake news, don't they? Like the whole Crucible, that whole idea. Okay, so like McCarthyism is what the Crucible was attacking. Witch times, what's its target? I mean, the obvious thing is attacking tabloid journalism.
Yeah.
You know, for you Brits over there, it's attacking the sun. You know, it's attacking
the sun.
The literal sun. She wants to destroy the sun so it's night forever, and then the devil will come back.
Yes.
See, the devil has been banished from Earth because he hates the light. The sun hurts him, but he doesn't come out at night because the commute is so long. He'd only be on Earth for like 5 minutes before he'd have to turn around and go back. But if the sun was gone forever, then all the witches would rule the world. That's what Night on Bald Mountain in Fantasia is about in a roundabout way. This is a terrible podcast, and I'm going to hate editing it and having to hear these bad jokes again.
What if, instead of them being the ghost of a witch, it's like the ghost of like an ancient slab that they carved in Egypt,
mm-hmm.
and they come to our times, like more like the 80s, as a typewriter.
Okay.
So they can date Andrew McCarthy. You were talking about McCarthyism.
You're right. Andy McCarthyism.
Yeah,
of course.
there you go.
So we would set this in Philadelphia.
Yes, obviously.
Do we have an offensive homosexual stereotype lined up? Because I got this great character I've been wanting to whip out on the Hollywood. Oh, it's me, Hollywood. Well, Andy, the movie got canceled. I'm sorry. Damn you, Hollywood.
Those Hollywood elites. Hollywood elite, and it's an effeminate, offensive gay stereotype, but it's one of those cool aliens from Halo.
He has an overshield and everything.
Yeah.
And unlike the grunts, he can actually use cover. Hollywood. So, Andy, I pulled this name earlier.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste it because I want to challenge you with this idea. And I felt like this wouldn't work well with Jim Halloween. I do like Jim Halloween. Do you have any other idea, or are we going to use this name that I pulled on Witch Times?
Use it on Witch Time, dude.
Okay. Who would Moki Fraggle play from the Fraggles? I wrote Moki Fraggle down.
So you asked me for actors and actresses.
Yeah, and I wrote Moki Fraggle down.
And you wrote a Fraggle.
I think Moki Fraggle would be the witch. And Moki Fraggle... Okay, we can't use Moki Fraggle. We'd get sued. What if it was a puppet of the woman that played Phoebe on Friends? Because I still say that Friends is a super ripoff of the Fraggles. I'm sorry. There's too many coincidences. There's one coincidence.
How do we not remember?
And that Phoebe and Moki are the same character.
How do we not remember Phoebe's name?
Lisa Kudrow.
Lisa Kudrow.
I remember that because she was on BoJack Horseman, which was made by Lisa Hannawalt and Lisa Frank.
And we were just talking about Weird Al, and he says Lisa Kudrow's name in one of the songs he made. Man, a witch has cursed me and taken away my memory.
Should we do one more actual pitch and then go on to the fan submissions?
One more actual pitch.
I'm doing something I said I would never do on this show.
This is the second episode, so
This is the second episode. I'm pitching an actual movie I've been wanting to do for years.
God damn it.
But I realize I'm never going to be able to do it. I don't have the means. Maybe one day. Maybe this podcast will get popular enough and I'll be able to make it.
No, it won't.
It will.
Anything else we make, sure, but not this.
Oh, wow. Are you saying my podcast isn't popular and I'm not good at it? Wow, I'm really bummed out. My Owen Wilson impersonation's really bad? Oh, wow. The film is called TM, trademark, copyright, and Chris Vaughn Enterprises. Oh, wait, I have a company. Reload Last Save Productions. It's called Wednesday Afternoon. And I came up with Wednesday Afternoon when I was in a Tuesday morning. Now, for those of you who don't know what Tuesday morning is, let me explain what Tuesday morning is. I don't know if this is a chain. I don't know if there's many Tuesday mornings or if there's just a Tuesday morning.
Well, there's at least two.
Tuesday morning is a store that is sometimes open on Tuesday mornings.
It was originally started under the thing that it would only be open Tuesday morning.
Yes.
But then capitalism made it open every day.
It was a store where essentially the owners had better shit to do and they would only open it on Tuesday mornings. Now, that is actually understandable. We had an uncle. We still have the uncle. He's still alive. Don't worry. But we had an uncle who used to have a thrift store, but he would only open on certain days because he had another job that paid more than running his own thrift store. The real reason he had a thrift store is because he was living out of it because property tax for businesses were a lot lower than residential in that area. So really, he didn't even need to have the thrift store. But it is a store. When I went in, it was a very oppressive Orwellian presence. It really kind of freaked me out in a Philip K. Dick sort of way.
Name one more author.
Ian M. Banks.
Thank you.
There was a spacesuit there, and it was alive. It was run out of half of an abandoned Food Lion. The entrance to the store was not the entrance to the Food Lion, though. It was the entrance of where you would take packages and where you would take carts, like the loading bay of the grocery store. You walk up to like a big metal door, and I know not every Tuesday morning is like this, but this particular Tuesday morning was.
Hashtag not all Tuesday mornings.
You'd open up this big metal door with a sign above it and walk down a very long corridor that was very narrow and had a very low ceiling. And for some reason, there was a CRT monitor on the wall at an angle that showed you in black and white and really grainy you walking into the store. You would then walk into a second set of glass double doors. And it was a store filled with trash and knickknacks. A lot of it seemed to be just stuff that was marked down or clearanced from other retailers. Open boxed items, stuff from Ross, like lawn ornaments you'd find in a Ross that had chips on it. Clothing that had stains or didn't seem to fit right. And everything weren't like put on the shelves right. They were just kind of thrown on there. And I was like, who is this store for? I'm only here because I'm with my mom, and my mom likes going to junk shops, but who is the store for? Everything in this building made me not want to be there. It was very unappealing. And then I had to use the bathroom, much like I have to use the bathroom now, and I'm going to end this podcast soon because of it. But I had to use the bathroom, and that's when the real horror story started. And no, this isn't going to go gross. I shit my brains out. I lied. It goes gross. No. Ooh, what if there's a movie where like you shit your brains out?
I don't like this idea.
Diarrhea. You'll shit your brains out.
Go back to that.
So
you had a really scary idea before. You said Food Lion. Ooh.
You go into the bathroom. And this was not a bathroom originally. They had converted it to a bathroom.
Nothing's a bathroom originally, Chris.
That's true, but it was a room with another purpose. It was not built from the ground up to be a bathroom. So the room is a big square with one toilet in the middle of the room. It's not against a wall. I don't know how that works. I guess the pipes are coming out the back and going down. Now you might be wondering, wouldn't you know? You saw it. That's the other thing. Toilet, stall, middle of the room. Stall with big, high walls, right? But they don't touch the ceiling because above that is a light fixture with a big grate that is continuously pulsing on and off. The light in the bathroom was dying, so you have to shit and piss in darkness, and then every now and then a flicker of light would come on. I felt like it was like the bathrooms you have when you dream about bathrooms. It was a crazy nowhere room. It was like when you dream about your old house when you're a kid, but the rooms are all wrong. that room exists and it's in this fucking store. So I thought to myself, this is where I fucking die. I'm going to die in this Tuesday morning. And that's when I came up with the idea for Wednesday afternoon. It is a store. And in my mind, I had one name who was going to be the main character. John C. Reilly is a man in his late 40s who's down on his luck and he can't seem to get a good job. So he takes a job at a place called Wednesday Afternoon. And this store, he likes it because he has no real responsibilities. He just throws stuff on the fucking shelves. He doesn't care. Maybe he works with someone who is also disaffected and doesn't care. He's like a loser who's just trying to get his life together. He works with like an Aubrey Plaza type who's just there because fuck it, the job is, who cares? You know, like a very Enid from OKKO.
Aubrey Plaza. That's a good name for a store. Like a plaza called Aubrey.
The Wednesday Afternoon is in the Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, okay.
So they're working at the store and he can't get his mind around it. Maybe he was a marketing a guy. He was getting a marketing degree and he dropped out of college 20 years ago. 30 years ago. So he doesn't understand why the store aggressively repels customers. And then he notices that people will come in the store and they won't leave. And he starts getting a little hair and he goes back and he checks the monitors and he checks like the tapes and the times on the tapes. And he's noticing black spots of people who are coming in. And he goes to his manager. We're going to pick a name out of the hat for who the manager is going to be because that's going to say the type of person this manager is. And essentially, the store is effectively repelling people away from it because they want to make it so there's only a maximum of one customer at a time. So when the people that run it abduct these people, skin them, and wear their skin out of the store days later, no one notices. Maybe that could be a twist. Is that John C. Reilly notices someone come in, they don't leave, and then like a week later they leave. And he doesn't remember them coming back in. And this is going to sound a little offensive, and it's a little mean, but it's a horror movie, and sometimes you got to work kind of lowbrow with a horror movie. My idea originally is, I know everyone's thinking aliens, demons. A real Clive Barker horror scenario. Like a Clive Barker, Edgar Wright mashup where it's funny and kooky and then the special effects are horrifying. These other interdimensional beings, they're not extraterrestrial, they're interdimensional. But these interdimensional hellish demons, in my mind, they look a lot like the Butcher from Diablo or something like that. A creature whose body is like a pyramid, like a triangle. A head, and then they just get fatter on the way down. Because that's the type of body type of every single person in that store I saw. I'm a fat American, so I feel like I can pick on my fellow fat Americans. That's the one privilege I have. Well, other than being a straight white guy in America, but like the one group of people I can pick on and feel like that's my group of people I'm allowed to pick on is heavy set people. And John C. Reilly, he's not a twig. So this store would...
I really thought you were going to say twink. I for sure thought you were going to say, John C. Reilly is not a twink. We are taking a hard stance against
We
this.
are taking a hard stance.
If anyone tells you that John C. Reilly is a twink, they're lying.
But, so this store would attract fat, middle-aged, middle Americans. It's a specific body type. That's why they've opened up a knick-knack store. And then John C. Reilly has to figure out a way to stop it. But he'll lose his job in the process. And it might look like he's committing mass murder if he stops it because he has to kill his manager. I'm leaving that burp in because I just said that I'm a fat American and I feel like that really sells it. But yeah, that's my story for Wednesday Afternoon. It's a film I've wanted to make for a long time.
Who's the manager?
The manager, we're going to find out. Hope it's not Red Fraggle or Boober.
You did not put more Fraggles in there.
I could work with a Wembley or a Gobo. Okay, the manager, because this is going to dictate how the whole movie feels. And it sucks because Will Forte would have been perfect. It's now a sporting goods store.
Oh, no.
It's a sporting goods store. The aliens are really buff and hot, and they can demons are really buff. I guess aliens would probably make more sense because this makes it a comedy now. At first, it was like a dark horror comedy, kind of like a John dies at the end. Now this is just a straight comedy because Channing Tatum is the manager. And he calls John C. Reilly Sport. I'm going to add something here. I'm going to add another character. This isn't from the bag. Ken Jeong is the owner. Channing Tatum is the manager. They're both aliens in this wacky screwball comedy. I guess Edgar Wright's still in, but Clive Barker's out of there.
This is the worst horror movie podcast.
His name is Wang because it's called Wang's Sporting Goods.
Oh, God.
That joke was a slam dunk. So Wang Sporting Goods, I've cannibalized my one great idea of Wednesday Afternoon is now dead. I'm now writing Wang Sporting Goods. Aubrey Plaza is still attached though. If you like this movie idea, or if you like Wednesday Afternoon, a much better movie idea, please contact me. Clive, I'll take back everything bad I said about Rawhead Rex. And Edgar, I'll take back everything bad I said about Scott Pilgrim.
Well, you have to because Michael Cera is Jason Voorhees now.
I actually didn't dislike Scott Pilgrim, but of the Edgar Wright films, that is my least favorite. Okay.
I forgot World's End existed until yesterday.
Yeah. World's End is a fabulous movie. That's why in the movie they'd have to be demons, not aliens, because it's kind of World's Endish, I guess. I was going to say I feel bad for kind of pitching a ripoff movie, but you came in pitching a new Friday the 13th. Then again, I also pitched a new Nightmare on Elm Street.
Hey.
We're all frauds here.
Jim Halloween is going to change the face of horror
Jim
movies.
Halloween was a original idea I've never seen done before. I'm going to pull a name out of the bag. Do you think you could work with Jamie Lee Curtis? Do you think you can get her in on this?
Absolutely not.
Okay. What about Paul Rudd?
I love Paul Rudd. He's in.
Okay. What about Gobo Fraggle?
You said...
What if I told you I wrote the Fraggles names down, but I also wrote them multiple times?
Is this bag full of Fraggles?
This is a bagel of Fraggles. I did write Fraggle Baggle. Let's go ahead to our listener submission section. I'm going to pull out 3 words, and we have to make a horror movie based on the 3 words. And I'll read out these screen names or Twitter handles of who suggested them. Kanemue, I think is how you pronounce their name. Kainomuea through YouTube suggested Fungus Monster.
Fungus Monster, okay.
Our good pal at Alan Tryth, ALANTRYTH, who sent us copies of Haunting Ground and Rule of Rose. They sent in they sent in Locked in the Middle of a Room. So somehow you're locked in the middle of the room. I guess maybe chained, like a saw kind of thing.
Or like if it's a toilet in the middle of the room.
Fiesta de Chorizo, Big Dog.
I really thought you were going to say Fiesta de Chorizo. Like a festival of sausage.
Fiesta de Chorizo, though, I think was trying to send me secret messages because I saw the other... We told each person send in 3.
Can they send in more ELO albums?
They were all references to Roman Reigns. I think someone wants a Roman Reigns horror film. For those of you who don't know, Roman Reigns is a WWE wrestler who, despite the company wanting people to really, really like him, is not very well liked, especially on the internet community. But he's kind of popular with our fans because we have a show called Wrestle, WRESTLE, Weird, Repulsive, Embarrassing Superstars, Terrible Loser Edition. And in that, it's a wrestling video game. And on several occasions, our matches have been interrupted by a AI-driven Roman Reigns. What if Roman Reigns is the killer in the Hatsune Miku video game movie?
He's also Chopin.
So, Big Dog, locked in the middle of the room, Fungus Monster. We got to come up with a movie, and then we'll pull 2 actors to be in this film.
Okay.
So, I'm starting to think The Thing.
Oh, so like in the thing, there's a dog.
There's a dog. The dog does not have to be the hero or the monster. Because a big dog can be chained in the middle of the room. And there's a fungus monster in play, too. So the fungus monster, we have our monster. It's a fungus monster. It's like a fungal beast. But if we just have that, then we've just made the thing. Because the thing already is kind of like it's a biological creature.
Yeah.
You know?
I was going to say, what if it's a guy and he is chained in the middle of a bathroom and there's a lot of, wet, gross, like fungus and stuff. It's very dark and wet. So, mushrooms and fungus can grow freely in a bathroom.
Yeah.
And he's chained there and there's a dog watching him. And he's like a prisoner there. And they don't really explain what he's a prisoner there for or anything, but he's been kidnapped and he's kept in there. And slowly the fungus is kind of following him.
Mm-hmm.
And it releases spores and he starts hallucinating. And he starts seeing the dog kind of mutate and become a fungus monster. And he doesn't know what's real or not because he's having these fungus hallucinations.
What if it's a man just called Big Dog?
Dog the Bounty Hunter.
What if we read this as intended? Roman Reigns is locked in the middle of the room.
Okay.
And a fungus monster. I like the idea, though. I like the idea of like a slow creeping terror. This doesn't have to be like a Swamp Thing, Man Thing, like big hulking guy made of fungus. This could just be a slow creeping fungus and the person is locked in the middle.
What if the fungus monster is locked in the middle of the room and Roman Reigns is the monster? We're rooting for the fungus monster.
What if we play with the idea of a room?
Yeah.
You're locked in the middle of a room. What if the room is gigantic?
Okay.
Like the size of a warehouse. And there's a man and a dog, and they're both chained up. And it's because the government or maybe a clandestine operation is doing experiments with an alien life form. And there is a fungus growing on the walls, getting bigger and bigger. And the guy has to figure out, how do I escape this room? And the reason the dog is there is because they're testing it on multiple biological life forms. And they want to see how it interacts. So maybe the dog is like a vicious dog and it's like keeping him in the room, like you said. And he has to try and befriend this dog to help him get out. Maybe the dog isn't tied up. Maybe only he's tied up because people like it's just a dumb dog. So he has to try and train this dog to get a key to get him out of the room before the fungus creeps up and kills him. And then the fungus eventually eats the dog and the dog turns into a fungus monster and the guy has to fight the fungus monster. I didn't say this would be a winner, but I'd say we'd come up with an idea.
I am locked in a room with fungus dog. Night after night after night after night.
Let's try 3 more. Let's try 3 more and see what we come up with. I'm going to put Big Dog locked in the middle of the room.
Okay. Oh, Roman Reigns. Never mind. WWE Pictures. They're known for their psychological thrillers.
See, this actually would make like a good kind of premise for a short. I don't think we could stretch it out to an hour. I was going to say 2 hours, but now I think about it, probably not even an hour. Yeah, I think 30 minutes is so. If this was an anthology movie, like a creep show, just a guy locked in a room with fungus growing on the walls being attacked by a big dog.
Body bags.
Or body bags. I'm going to reach into this body bag and pull out a name. It's a sandwich bag. It's not a body bag.
Big sandwich.
Okay, so Miranda Cosgrove from iCarly is locked in this giant warehouse and it's being broadcast live on the internet.
Oh my God. This is the sequel to iCarly.
iCarly went off the air and now she's completely on the dark web.
Freddie and other characters. Sam.
I think both of us are too old to be fans of iCarly in the past.
I was young enough, but I still didn't watch it.
I don't think you were. I think that show was actually made for people even younger than that.
Yeah.
I can't see it appealing. You would have been like,
I watched
11?
I watched Drake and Josh.
You did watch Drake and Josh. Okay, I'm sexist. I'm sorry. I'm sexist.
Miranda Cosgrove was in Drake and Josh, though.
That's true. She was.
Yeah.
But she was much older in iCarly was after Drake and Josh.
Yeah, but I don't think
So you would have
much
grown.
older.
You would have grown up too.
Yeah.
So you
So I
would
could have
aged
watched.
that.
I could have watched it.
Okay, let's try 3 more.
Miranda Cosgrove, hit me up. We'll make this movie. If Miranda Cosgrove starts following me on Twitter tonight, I'm gonna get real scared.
Especially because we're not uploading this tonight.
Yeah. Is Miranda Cosgrove the fungus monster now? Like, did she get overtaken? Who knows?
Sandwich bag full of monster movies.
Also, about 90% of my knowledge of iCarly is YouTube poops. So
I pulled out 4 instead of 3 because I pulled one from someone who submitted the last one we did, but it's too good of a one to put away. So I want to be fair, but I also want to keep the integrity of pulling these at random.
yeah.
So Kanamui said skeleton.
Skeleton.
Our good pal at Mace Stampede, the 5-second rule. At Kokano, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, spelt K0KONOE, Cool Pumpkin, which could just be the name of the movie. And finally, I'm excited about this one. One of my boys, a person who's always been like having our backs for a long time now, at Fizz versus the World. Fizz spelled Fizz. Fizz versus the World. Our good pal Mike. Big Toblerone, which I know is all over the internet because of Jaden Smith. God, I'm hoping we pull Will Smith out of the bag for actor now. So we got Big Toblerone, the 5-second rule. That fits right there. A cool pumpkin and a skeleton.
Pick up that cool pumpkin, skeleton.
So wait, so the skeleton's the star? I was thinking, what if it's a world where there's the 5-second rule like we have, right?
Yeah.
But if it goes to 6, you get killed by a skeleton.
Oh my God.
You get killed by a skeleton, and it's someone who drops a big Toblerone. And it was really expensive. He drops his big Toblerone,
The movie,
and he's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And like something breaks his concentration. Then he just stares at it. And then, Run Lola Run style, we have several different stories on how his life could be different if he does or does not pick up the big Toblerone.
I was going to think it was more like a creeping, like, It Follows kind of.
Oh, so it's a skeleton that follows you if you break the 5-second
Yeah.
rule.
I mean, think about it. There's Bloody Mary. You say Bloody Mary in a mirror 3 times. There's the bye-bye.
You can't even say it once.
I know. Bye-bye guy.
Bye-bye, guy.
Bye-bye. Is that Borat?
My wife.
My wife, man. Here's my dog. He's made of muscles and skin.
There's the Candyman.
Yeah, Candyman.
So what you're saying is
And
you
there's
break.
Beetlejuice.
You're right. I like your idea better. You break the 5-second rule, and the skeleton comes after you, but he's really slow.
And not just that, people think it's a myth.
Yeah,
But this kid believes.
he believes.
He still believes in the spirit of a skeleton killing you with a pumpkin.
I'm saying he doesn't kill you with a pumpkin.
Yeah.
I'm saying the name of the character is Cool Pumpkin.
The Toblerone dropper or the skeleton?
The Toblerone dropper. He just happens to be named Cool Pumpkin. It's like Precious, you know. It's like maybe he has celebrity parents and they named him Cool Pumpkin.
Well, of course he has celebrity parents. That's how he has the big Toblerone.
Will Smith's his dad.
Give me an actor right now.
I almost pulled out of the same bag, and that would have been great because it would have been like, oh, it looks like Mace Stampede is the main character. I pulled out 2 names on accident, but we're going to go with both. You're going to tell me who Cool Pumpkin is, and I think I know who the hell Cool Pumpkin is. Cool Pumpkin is no longer going to be the kid that picks it up because it has to be a kid.
Yeah.
This is a kid's movie.
I was imagining they were in high school when they dropped their big Toblerone on the high school floor.
I'm thinking,
Like
what
the
if we get
cafeteria floor?
who's the person that wrote Scary Godmother? Jill Thompson. We get Jill Thompson to produce this, just like the the CG animated film Scary Godmother, which we just reviewed on our cartoon review video podcast, Bad Tunes.
I thought you were going to say just watch. I'm like, no, that was 2 months ago.
So the skeleton is played by X-Files Gillian Anderson.
Okay.
Gillian Anderson
Put her in a
is a
mocap suit.
screaming skeleton, and she just howls at people. But then at the end, she turns out she just wants something to eat. She kills people, and we don't have, maybe this is a kid's film now. This is a kid's Halloween special.
She still kills people.
She still kills people, but that's because if something's on the ground for longer than 5 seconds, she gets to eat the soul of that food. That food dies, and then because she's a ghost skeleton, she gets to eat the ghost of the food. Food has ghosts now.
I don't think you know what soul food is, Chris.
Soul food isn't sentient food that dies? Okay.
The message of the movie, 5-second rule. The whole thing is he drops the food for 6 seconds.
Yeah.
And the skeleton tries to come kill him. And the whole movie is he's running away from the skeleton. But someone drops their food for 4 seconds. And the skeleton kills them. And it turns out the moral is don't eat food off the fucking floor. Ever. It's gross.
It's not a kid anymore. It's a grown man. It's a grown man who really loves food. He's so lovable that he has the nickname Cool Pumpkin because he's played by Mick Foley.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Bobby Moynihan.
Bobby Moynihan's dad is Mick Foley.
That checks.
Cool Pumpkin.
That fucking checks.
Okay. I want you to know, I'm not like trying to bring my obsession with wrestling into this podcast. That's not what's going on here. We had someone who tracked us down and said, I'm going to suggest Roman Reigns buzzwords because if you just saw Big Dog, you'd think, oh, a big dog. But when the other guy's suggestions are the yard and the guy, you know what he's going for.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he didn't say bad guy, good guy, the guy.
It's going to be our 5th fucking wrestling show on this fucking network.
But Mick Foley is one of the names, which is why I want Jill Thompson to produce, because I think once she finds out Mick's attached, she'll be all over it. So Mick Foley is Bobby Moynihan's dad. It's like a Steven Universe thing.
Yeah, having dads like in Steven Universe.
No, but his name is Jeff Pumpkin, and his son is Jeff Pumpkin Jr., but he goes by Cool Pumpkin. So Cool Pumpkin drops his big Toblerone. I want to make this movie, and he's haunted by a skeleton because the skeleton eats the ghost food. What would this movie be called?
I'll tell you one thing I'm calling.
I like
an ambulance because you're having a fucking stroke, Chris.
I like the name Soul Food. Is that taken by another series? There's nothing culturally inappropriate with us calling this movie Soul Food, right? If you find this to be culturally inappropriate, please get in contact with us as soon as possible. This film written by 2 white people with a cast of all white people. I'm going to pick one more name, and we're going to create a character for this movie.
Okay. And the worst part is you took Big Toblerone from a black person, so.
Who would John Leguizamo be in our film?
He would be another kid who dropped food, and the skeleton's also after him, and he goes to Cool Pumpkin to join in like their like quest to get away from the skeleton.
I was going to say maybe he's the ghost of the Toblerone. The Toblerone becomes his sidekick. Maybe the skeleton like, ooh. Skeleton doesn't kill you. Skeleton punishes you. She knocks Cool Pumpkin's soul out of his body. And Cool Pumpkin, along with his ghost Toblerone, played by John Leguizamo, have 5 seconds to get back into his body. But they're in ghost time, so everything is slowed down. So you have like this cool kind of effect where everyone's moving in slow motion and he has to get back to his body because the ghost skeleton played by X-Files Gillian Anderson knocked his soul out of his body.
I don't know if I like that because there's kind of a thing where people will have like POC in their movie and they'll make them Toblerones?
Yeah,
Like,
that is
like white people get to be people, but
Yeah,
then
and
if you have
if
any
you're a
person, of color,
you're a Toblerone.
you're a Toblerone or a ghost Toblerone. Actually, I've never heard people do a ghost Toblerone. That's not really a stereotype.
Well, we were talking about Keith David, and Keith David does a lot of voice acting roles.
Keith David
And
is the Candyman, but
he-
not that Candyman. The Candyman, like from Willy Wonka, he sells Toblerones on the street. I just want to hear Keith David sing, damn it.
Okay, fine. We go back to the original format. John Leguizamo as himself. He's John Leguizamo in this movie, and at the end, he just goes, "Hey kid, you dropped your Toblerone," and we see the skeleton eat him. Is that better? If the skeleton eats John Leguizamo?
I haven't seen The Pest. Is that what you're referencing? Does that happen in The Pest?
No, but because of the pest, I want John Leguizamo to be killed by a skeleton. And Spawn.
Remember that scene in The Pest where he's showering
Yeah?
and he drops his Toblerone on the shower floor?
I'm ridiculous. Like a booger, I stick to this. Take a whiff of this.
Oh my god, a booger sticks to his Toblerone and he can't eat it anymore.
Now, we don't know when we're going to be doing another one of these, but we want to do them more frequently than once a year. We don't want this to just be a Halloween tradition. So if you want a suggestion read in the next episode, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below if you're watching the video version, or contact us via Twitter at ReelLastSave with the hashtag podcastbeach if you're just listening to the audio version. Want to say some special thanks before we call it a night on this podcast. A big special thanks to Jay Hunter of OSW Review, oswreview.com. You can check out their show. It's amazing. But I've been working with him frequently, and he's helped us afford these brand new microphones. Pretty much, whether he knows it or not, he's paying for terrible podcasts like this. So thanks/sorry. On that same note, I'd like to thank Matt McMuscles of the Matt McMuscles Flophouse, also of Super Best Friends and Two Best Friends Play. I'd like to thank our pal Fizz from Fizz vs. the World, at Fizz vs. the World, Fizz vs. Gaming, Fizz vs. Comics. They're a great artist. I've worked with them on several projects. A lot of them for OSW, and they always have our back, retweeting and tweeting whenever we release something new. Want to thank our Golden Goblins, Terror Van, Miltonius Prime, and our good pal Tomlin. Tomlin, she's always had our backs. She's gifted us many great things, including the film Things, which has ruined some friendships and scarred some people for life.
And the PlayStation 2, The Thing.
She sent us two things.
A few of our favorite things.
And finally, I want to thank Stephen Ray Garza. Stephen Ray Garza did some amazing fan art last year for our films. Sharon is Karen, starring Bobby Moynihan. And of course,
Grill Daddy starring Ted Danson.
So, Stephen, I hope that we gave you some stuff to draw this year.
Maybe skip this year.
If this was bad, then no hard feelings. So, from Chris
and Andy,
keep it spooky, y'all.